wonderful presentation. Before we actually go to the resolution, I would like to ask if any of my colleagues on the board would like to make a comment or have any questions in regards to this current presentation of our 2012-2013 school year budget. Yes, Mr. Gonzalez?
No, I would like to thank the administration for doing a great job in putting together a great program for our children for the upcoming school year, keeping in mind not only the children but the professional development of our staff, the upkeeping of our facilities, which is very important because to have a healthy, clean, good environment is very important. The programs that we are offering our children are incredible. My goodness, it's like I can't keep so many of them. I wanted to keep track of, but there are numerous. So I can't wait to see the information on the web for all the great services that we be providing. So I congratulate for putting this together, for keeping the children in mind first, which is what we're here for, to provide a great excellence education that we've been providing to our children. So this is another year that our children in Elizabeth will be benefiting from our hard work, the hard work of the staff and administration. So thank you for, and looking forward to implementing the budget and going for it starting the next school year.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Are there any other?
If I may, Madam President?
Yes, Mr.
First, I'd like to thank Dr. Green and Ms. Hugelmeyer for a great presentation. And not only as a resident, but as a parent of students that attend the Elizabeth Public Schools, first I'd like to commend our staff, starting at the top by Mr. Munoz, all the way down to our staff that work in our schools on a daily basis, not only to teach our kids, but to guide them in the right direction and to make sure they learn proper manners. I know many times that's not the job of our staff members, but I know they help, and I want to thank them for that. I think they deserve a round of applause for their hard work. If you follow the budget today, you notice that our budget is over $487 million. And I tell you, it's great to see it broken down, because I think there's a lot of people in the city should look at this budget and realize where the funds are really being spent. 77% are being spent in the classroom to educate your child, my child as well. Equates to almost $377 million. That's right, $377 million out of $487 million are being spent to educate your child, to making sure they get the proper education. And as you heard earlier, before Mr. Munoz came aboard and most of this board was in place, we had 11 students passing the state exams. Today we have 330. We're talking merely about 5 years. The percentages are remarkable. Most of you may know that a couple of days ago, the Star-Ledger finally wrote an article that suits what we do here and what you as staff members do in our district. I know that over the last 6 months or so, you read the Star-Ledger write ridiculous remarks and stories about what Elizabeth School District does here. And yesterday, finally, I guess the Star-Ledger hired somebody who knows how to do the media justice and Elizabeth, and found that we are doing a great job. We're on the right track. And after today's budget response and the way it's broken down, by the way, Dr. Green and your staff and Mr. Kennedy, the people that put together this budget break it down so eloquently, I think that we might want to do a couple more meetings, maybe throughout town, if the board would, would entertain that, to show our residents that not only are we educating our kids this year, but as a taxpayer, I want to thank our district, because I'm not getting one increase. For somebody who pays high taxes in the city, to see our school district moving forward, educating our kids, putting them first, there's no increase. I want to thank the taxpayers of the state of New Jersey who realize that Elizabeth is taking those funds and doing what every school district should be doing in the state of New Jersey. Use them to educate our kids. So I want to thank the district, the leadership on this board, Pablo Munoz, the leadership of our district, those of you in the classroom, in our buildings, technology, central office, the budget, everybody who's involved in this process. Thank you very much, because I believe and I feel it in my heart that over the last 11 years, the time that I've taken away from my family to be here is well worth it. Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be a part of this.
Thank you, Commissioner DaSilva. Are there any other comments or questions from any other board members?
If I may, Madam President?
Yes, Commissioner Trujillo.
Thank you. I think it's important, if I may piggyback on some of what Mr. DaSilva said. First and foremost, I would like to thank the taxpayers of the great state of New Jersey for investing in education in the city of Elizabeth. To say that 77 cents of every dollar goes into education in the classroom says a lot about what they're willing to spend, especially in these times where every penny counts, and we're open to a lot of criticism. As Mr. DaSilva mentioned, this district, as you're all aware, was repeatedly attacked in the paper. And I'd like to also thank the author of this article that appeared in the Star Ledger, Mr. Paul Trachtenberg, who is a law professor at Rutgers Law School, founder and co-director of the Rutgers Newark Institute on Education Law and Policy, and co-director of the Newark School Research Collaboration. He also is the founder of the Educational Law Center. And anyone who follows education knows that the Law Center's work on behalf of Abbott's is so important, everything they do. And for him to have the courage to write this really means a lot to us. And all fairness to Star Ledger for having the wherewithal to actually print it. Because for a while there, I thought I didn't know where they were getting all their stories. But to have someone with Mr. Trachtenberg's credential write things, and if you allow me to read some of it, which was covered in the presentation, but I believe is worth mentioning again. It reads, every school district should seek to emulate Elizabeth's record of accomplishment, improvement, and recognition. For a district overwhelmingly populated by poor minority students, it is an extraordinary achievement. Let's congratulate ourselves for being a state where a success story such as Elizabeth can blossom. Let's trumpet it as a sign that the Abbott model can work, indeed, that it is working. Let's congratulate Elizabeth for demonstrating that hard work, talent, and adequate resources can make traditional public schools work. Let's resist the temptation to consign through those schools to the scrap heap as we rush to replace them with quick fix, magic bullet, and bogus education reforms, whether or not the available evidence suggests they will work. We owe it to our children, all of them, to proceed thoughtfully and effectively, and dare I say, thoroughly and efficiently. I couldn't say it better myself. When you go through all we've gone through over the last 6 months, knowing as far as we've come in the last 5 or 6 years, it really makes me happy that somebody out there had the courage to write that, and again, that the Star Ledger was smart enough to print it. Our budget, when you hear the presentation, you hear words like continue, expand, create. All positive things are happening in the state of Elizabeth. It is incredible that we can continue. I mean, what a difference a year makes. Last year, although we were able not to raise taxes, we went through some tough times. And I don't have to tell those that worked in the district how hard it was. We were able to recuperate a lot of those people back, and I'm really grateful, because I don't ever like to see anyone lose their job. But that we are a beacon of hope in a country that sometimes these days seems hopeless to many, so many. that we have a bright future and our best days are ahead of us is really worth celebrating. I know many of you hear the accomplishments over and over, but you can never get tired of hearing it. Because in all reality, it's the work of the educators, the parents who commit themselves to their children's education, and the children themselves. It's their future. My colleague, Mr. DaSilva, has served on this board, I believe he's the senior member, and he has sacrificed a lot of time, as we all do, from our families. But we believe in this. We believe in you. And we thank you for believing in us. It is important that the community continue to be involved, not only the educational community, but the community at large, that we support our children in every aspect of their education. If you notice, it's not just education in the classroom, but out of the classroom. Our band is doing well. Our sports teams are doing well. They are children at the end of the day. They deserve to have some fun. It can't all be education in the classroom all day. But these things, there's lessons to be learned in these programs too. And I'm glad that we're going to continue to fund those things as well. Together, the best days ahead of us are still to come. I just hope that we can keep it together, and at the end of the day, this board will continue to stay committed to the vision that Pablo Munoz has for this district, that we can gel, continue to put our differences aside, and concentrate on what we agree on, that we all love our children, and that the children in the city of Elizabeth deserve the best education possible, and that means hiring the best people possible to do the job. Taxpayers of Elizabeth, you should be very happy. Not only are you getting a great education for your children, for your tax dollars, but you won't see any increase in a time when an increase would probably hurt a lot of people. I congratulate the superintendent again on all his hard work. The administration, my colleagues, continue to support. Let's continue the progress.